Right now, as you hear these words, your brain is doing something that no scientist on Earth can fully explain. It is generating awareness. It is creating the experience of being you, and no one knows why. That mystery is just one of 8 questions we're about to tackle, questions so fundamental that humanity has spent thousands of years arguing about them without settling a single one. By the end of this video, you will understand every major answer that philosophy, science, and religion have offered, and you will see why the most honest response to some of these might be silence. Let's start with the one that breaks most people's brains. Why does anything exist? Seriously, sit with that for a second. Why is there a universe? Stars, planets, you, me, this video? Why isn't everything just absolute nothingness? The 17th century philosopher Gottfried Leibniz famously posed this question and concluded that there must be something he called a necessary being, something that exists by its very own nature, not because something else caused it. Many religious traditions jumped on this reasoning as evidence for God. Bertrand Russell, on the other hand, basically shrugged and said the universe just is. No deeper explanation needed. And maybe Russell was right, but that answer feels a little unsatisfying, doesn't it? Modern physics actually gives us some fascinating alternatives. Quantum mechanics suggests that a vacuum isn't truly empty. There's energy, fluctuations, instability, and from that instability, something can emerge. Some physicists argue this explains how existence bootstrapped itself into being. Others propose the multiverse idea, that our universe is just one bubble in an infinite ocean of universes, making the question of why this one exists feel less special. But here's the catch. All of these answers just push the question back further. Why do those quantum laws exist? Why does mathematics work the way it does? We may never get to the bottom of it, but the fact that something exists rather than nothing is the most remarkable thing you will ever contemplate. Now that something does exist, does it have a creator? The question of whether God exists has been one of philosophy's most enduring battlegrounds. Thomas Aquinas built what's called the cosmological argument. Everything has a cause. Trace those causes back far enough, and you hit something that had no cause, an uncaused first cause, which many call God. There's also the teleological argument, sometimes called the watchmaker analogy. The universe is so precisely calibrated that the fundamental constants of physics seem almost suspiciously perfect for life to exist. Tweak them even slightly and stars don't form, atoms don't hold together, life never emerges. Some see this fine-tuning as a fingerprint of a designer, but skeptics push back hard. Evolution explains the staggering complexity of life without any need for divine direction. And there's the classic problem of evil. If God is all-powerful and all-good, why does suffering exist on such an enormous scale? It's a question that has never been fully resolved. Honestly, this might be a question where certainty in either direction is intellectually overconfident. The evidence neither conclusively proves nor disproves God's existence, and that tension is worth sitting with. Moving from the divine to the cosmic, and honestly, this next question might be the most unsettling one on the entire list. Are we alone in the universe? The physicist Enrico Fermi captured the paradox perfectly. If intelligent life should be relatively common across a universe with hundreds of billions of galaxies, each containing hundreds of billions of stars, where is everybody? We have been scanning the skies for signals for decades and heard nothing. Frank Drake created his famous equation to estimate how many civilizations might exist. Factor in habitable planets, the probability of life developing, the likelihood of intelligence emerging, and the math suggests we should have company. Yet, silence. One explanation is that we genuinely are alone, that the emergence of intelligent life requires such a precise chain of unlikely events that it happened only once, here. Another possibility is that civilizations consistently destroy themselves before achieving interstellar reach, through war, environmental collapse, or technology they cannot control. Then there's the dark forest theory, the chilling idea that intelligent civilizations deliberately stay quiet because the universe is a competitive arena where announcing your presence is dangerous. If that theory holds, our decades of broadcasting signals into space was, let's say, not the wisest move. Whether we are alone or surrounded by cautious cosmic neighbors, both possibilities are genuinely terrifying in their own unique way. Now let's bring it closer to home, because this next question isn't about the universe out there. It's about the universe inside your skull. What is consciousness? You are aware right now. You are processing these words. There is something it feels like to be you. But why? Philosopher David Chalmers drew a famous distinction between what he called the easy problems and the hard problem. The easy problems involve figuring out how the brain processes information. The hard problem is explaining why that processing creates subjective experience at all. Why does it feel like something rather than just happening in the dark? Most neuroscientists point to the cerebral cortex and thalamus as key regions tied to conscious awareness. Brain scans show consistent patterns of activity linked to experience. Materialists argue consciousness is simply what happens when information processing reaches sufficient complexity. But not everyone is satisfied. Panpsychism, the idea that consciousness is a fundamental property of matter itself, has been gaining serious philosophical attention. Roger Penrose has proposed that quantum processes inside neurons might be essential to generating awareness. And then there's artificial intelligence. If consciousness is purely computational, could a sufficiently advanced AI become genuinely conscious? If so, what does that say about us? Which brings us naturally to free will. And if you are finding these questions as fascinating as I think you are, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what comes next, because the remaining questions might genuinely change how you see your own life. Are you actually making choices right now? Or is this whole thing a predetermined chain reaction that started at the Big Bang? Libertarian free will says yes, you are genuinely the author of your decisions, and this is what grounds moral responsibility. Determinism says everything, including the firing of your neurons, is the result of prior causes you had no control over. Some neuroscience research shows that brain activity associated with a decision begins before you consciously experience making that choice, suggesting the decision might be made before you even know it. Compatibilism, championed by thinkers like David Hume and Daniel Dennett, tries to thread the needle. Even if your desires were shaped by genetics, upbringing, and circumstance, acting in accordance with those desires without external coercion still counts as freedom in a meaningful sense. Whether you find that satisfying or a clever rebranding of determinism probably says something about your philosophical temperament. Now here is where things take a turn that might make you question everything you have accepted up to this point. What about reality itself? Is the world you perceive actually out there? Or is your experience a kind of constructed interpretation? The dominant scientific view is materialism. Physical matter governed by natural laws is the base of everything. But quantum mechanics throws a wrench in this. Particles exist in superpositions of states until observed. Observation itself seems to influence outcomes. Plato suggested thousands of years ago that we only see shadows of a deeper reality. Kant argued the true nature of things is forever beyond our perception. Berkeley took it further, claiming that reality is fundamentally mental, that existence is experience. And simulation theory, once a fringe idea, is now taken seriously by some physicists. If our reality is an information construct, that changes everything we thought we understood. So what is the meaning of life? Religious traditions have historically provided the most direct answers. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism frame life as a moral test with eternal consequences. Hinduism and Buddhism situate individual lives within vast cycles of karma and rebirth aimed at liberation. Existentialists like Sartre and Camus rejected any pre-given meaning, arguing that we are condemned to create our own. Nihilists say there is no meaning at all, and you have to decide if that terrifies or liberates you. Humanists find meaning in connection, creativity, and the expansion of knowledge. Science, grounded in evolution, suggests no cosmic purpose built into life's existence, yet the very fact that beings like us can ask the question hints at something extraordinary. And finally, perhaps the question we feel most personally, and I want you to really sit with this one. Is there life after death? Every culture in recorded history has developed beliefs about what lies beyond. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism speak of souls continuing in spiritual realms. Hinduism and Buddhism describe cycles of reincarnation. From a strictly scientific materialist view, consciousness ends when the brain does. But near-death experiences, reported across cultures and throughout history, complicate the picture. People describe vivid awareness while clinically dead, detailed perceptions they shouldn't have had access to. Researchers like Roger Penrose have theorized that consciousness might have a quantum basis that doesn't simply vanish at death. Whether these experiences are glimpses of something beyond or remarkable productions of a dying brain remains genuinely open. The honest answer is that nobody knows, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. So which one of these questions keeps you up at night? The silence of the universe? The nature of your own awareness? Whether your choices are truly yours? Drop it in the comments. If this video made you think, make sure you are subscribed so you catch the next one. And speaking of questions worth exploring, you are going to want to watch this video right here. I think it is exactly the kind of thing your brain is hungry for right now.